initialize Genesis sequence.
Good morning, DevOps! So good to be back. I had the worst night before this keynote, as always. But anyway, the world as we have created, it is a process of our thinking. It cannot be changed without changing our thinking. And this is what I want to talk about during this keynote. It's about change. It's about AI, obviously, and it's also about Java. And I actually went to ChatGPT because I wanted to create this cool background. I said, like, okay, create me a cool background and put Java, AI, and change on that slide. And this is what it gave me. Okay. Looks like AGI is not around the corner just yet. But I'm sure maybe Midjourney would probably do a better job. I don't know. I mean, you remember like 1 year ago when you had to create a person and it had like, the person had like 3 fingers or 7 fingers, and they fixed that 2 months later. I think with words and letters, you know, it's probably already fixed as well, but I used the wrong model. So I added myself. There's still some human intelligence to be added as well, which is good. We're not out of a job. But I must say, AI will not replace developers, or no, it will be developers who use AI that will replace your job. I'm convinced about that. So you have to jump on that train. You have to use AI code assistants, even because remember, the models that we have today, it's the worst that they will ever be, because they're only getting better. And they're getting better at like every month there's new versions coming out, which is just scary. And I call it the quantum superposition state. It's both scary and exciting at the same time. It really is. So if you look at the proposals of this year's DevOps Belgium, we received close to 900 proposals from 650 speakers. And we generate the keywords out of the abstracts automatically using ChatGPT, of course. And I created this cloud tag, or keyword cloud tag. And what do you notice? Java is still very prominent, available in all the proposals. But the 2 new keywords, which weren't there last year, was generative AI and large language models. And the other one, which wasn't there either, was LangChain4j. I mean, LangChain4j, we actually announced it last year. Liz actually did a great talk. And this year, we have 12 talks which are covering LangChain4j. 12 talks. Even Antonio from DevOps France wrote a book about it, and he released it at DevOps Belgium. Antonio, you're in the room? Oh, okay, good. So you owe me 2 bottles of wine now, right? You promised that. That was my motivation. And thank you for the signed copy. So it's clear that AI is going to be very dominant at the conference. We already had some very interesting talks. And I've basically coined a new acronym. I call it AAP. It stands for AI Augmented Programming. But AAP in Dutch means monkey. Right. From the laughter, you're getting the idea. I mean, it's the new Stack Overflow, right? You have the Gen AI create some code, you copy it without looking at it, and then you run it, and of course, it has lots of bugs because it was hallucinating on your code, etc. But if you're a senior developer and you know what you need to ask and how the code should look like, you can really be productive. So last year, we had Anton from JetBrains here, and he actually showed the IntelliJ AI assistant. And I took a screenshot from that talk last year, where I actually asked Anton, are you going to use an open source large language model, and will it run locally with the AI assistant? And he said, like, yeah, I don't know. And I waited, and after 4 months, they didn't do it. So I said, like, fuzz it. I'll do it myself. So I developed my very first plugin called DevOps Genie, especially for IntelliJ. I developed it for myself because what I wanted to have is I wanted to be able to use local models. And if I'm not connected, I could still have this AI assistant tell me coding and reviewing my code. And so I released it in May. And as you can see from the chart, I mean, it's not super I developed it for myself, but I did open source it. There's no commercial strategy behind it. It's just free. And this morning, we already got close to 3,200 downloads. So that's cool. And so quickly want to show you how it works. You can actually go to the marketplace. So it's very straightforward. You go to the marketplace in IntelliJ, and you can just install it. Now, just out of curiosity, how many people are not allowed to use a cloud large language model? Wow. I would say like 40%, 50, maybe half of the room. I, of course, didn't see the other rooms. So the cool thing here is that I've installed the plugin. You can see it on the right. And I'm supporting all the possible local models that there are. Ollama is one of them, but there's many more, LM Studio, Llama CPP, and so on. But I'm also supporting all the cloud models. And what I can do, in the right-hand corner here, I can add the full project. This is meta programming. I'm using Devoxx Genie to enhance Devoxx Genie, right? So on the left, I have the Devoxx Genie code space, and I've basically added it to the full window context, and then I can say, how can I add a new LLM model using Azure? I know Antonio asked that as well. And so now I'm firing this off, and it has the full model, the full source code, using a local model. And this takes about 10 seconds or so. So here it goes. It says like, OK, to add, you have to do this, you have to do that. Here's a bit of code, etc. But it might be hallucinating. So what I can do now, I can go to Anthropic, which is really good, really the best one for development. And I can use Claude Sonnet 3.5 and say like, hey, can you review the suggestion and check if it can be improved? It doesn't matter if you have typos, it understands it. Now, this is now going to the cloud. Hopefully, Anthropic is alive and kicking, because yesterday there was a talk where Anthropic was failing. This takes about 20 seconds, but what I'm doing here is just the idea is that I have my full project. The project is 80,000 tokens. Claude can handle 200,000 tokens. And so I can push the full project and start doing meta programming, which is like, this was not possible last year. You could not do this 1 year ago, which is pretty crazy. And it's still, there it is. So it just came back, and it said like, whatever. Certainly, I'll review the suggestion added for the new blah, 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 from Azure. So it knew about the response from my local model. And it then goes and says how I need to develop this. Are you uploading because you're scared or you're excited? Both, exactly. Now you can take it further. You can then go here, do a right-click, and say, copy, where is it? Copy directory to clipboard. Oh, it's not fully shown. Ah, there it is. Copy directory to clipboard. What it's doing there is that it will copy my full project, and I can specify which directories it should exclude. It even looks at git ignore, where it will ignore everything which is defined in the git ignore. And it will copy all of that information, so all your sources, on my clipboard. And then I can go to, for example, Claude from Anthropic. And I can create here a new project like the Devoxx Genie. Just whatever, create project. And here I can say, add text, my project. And I'm pasting the full project, which Devoxx Genie does for me, with all the information, add content. There it is. And now I can start chatting and saying like, how can I improve this project? Give me the top 10 enhancements. Well, it doesn't matter. There it goes. And this is in the web. Now, the cool thing about this is that, why would you do this? They actually have an Android app that I can install on my phone. So when I'm sitting on the toilet and have a bright new idea, I can chat with Claude using my code base and ask me what to do. Or if I'm on the plane or a train, I have no internet, I can brainstorm about new features, how to develop it, and it will give me answers in a web-based environment. And there it goes. That's pretty great. I mean, seriously, I am more productive since 1 year ago and more knowledgeable because I'm just an average developer. But with this assistant, I can really like just spawn ideas, explain it, etc. And that's like, bloody hell, this is, like I said, it's exciting times, but also very scary. So yesterday, the project is open source. We already have a few contributors. Günther Rotzard is one of the contributors. He actually fixed a bug, several bugs. And he did a talk yesterday, Tools in Action. He goes much more in detail. If you want to see that talk, it's already online. By the way, all the talks from yesterday and the day before are already online, right? So you can already enjoy them. Now, the good thing about organizing this event, I now have, after Devoxx Belgium, I have 4 months to do nothing, and I can just hack and code and extend it. So if you want to contribute, this is the GitHub repo. Have a look at it, install it. Like I said, it's free. If you're not allowed to use a cloud model, well, you can just use this one and use Olama and run it locally. But I would like to get there's several people who are going to come on stage, and I would like to introduce Sun Tan, who is one of my contributors as well, who would like to share something. Sun, welcome to Devoxx Belgium.
Okay, so 6 months ago, I told Stephan that I was going to port the Devoxx Genie IntelliJ plugin to VS Code. And that was a challenge because maybe you know or not, VS Code is TypeScript and the IntelliJ plugin is Java. And I wanted to reuse as much as possible from the code from the plugin. So my plan was to have in VS Code only the UI part in the VS Code extension, and that VS Code extension will also start a process in background. I call it the daemon. It is a Java backend that would reuse the existing Devoxx Genie Java code. And it will expose the feature to the VS Code UI. And I can show you. It is running. As you can see, so this is the daemon. It is using Quarkus. And why Quarkus? Because I could take advantage of the native compilation. And why the native compilation? It's because I wanted to be able to ship the VS Code extension with native binaries, so the user won't have to install the Java runtime to use it. So I really started to work on it mid-July. And I did good progress. And at the end of August, the daemon was working, but I wanted to try the native mode, and it wasn't working. No, I had a bug. I tried to debug to debug, and this is in Java mode. The requests that were sent by the Devoxx Genie to the Olama server that I was using for testing, and this is what I had in native mode. Okay, I was dead. I was devastated. I had no clue because I had no errors. I didn't know what was going wrong. And I was going to tell Stephan that I was going to cancel my presentation here. But then I thought, yeah, I can do it. It doesn't matter if it doesn't work in native mode. I can ask the user to install Java. That's not a big deal. Yeah, okay. And I can fix it later, and I will be able to do that demo. So after a few weeks of work, I work on the extension. I'm happy to show you the extension. It is just there if you haven't noticed that. So there is a we call it a view, a dedicated view here. The same thing that you have in the Devoxx Genie IntelliJ plugin. You can choose your LLM providers. So I'm going to choose Olama and take not this one because that's why my previous demo was failing because of that maybe. And what I'm going to do is ask you who are you. Who are you? Up. Okay. I hope it works. So I have the logs in the daemon. So it's sending sending some information, and so it did reply. Okay. So I'm DevOps Genie, an IntelliJ plugin. What? Okay, it sounds like a bug, but it's actually proof that it is using the code from the IntelliJ plugin. So now I'm going to open maybe this file and ask him, come on, what is this? Is this? And then, so yeah, same thing. It's gonna save some stuff. Okay, so this is some. Oh, okay, he's hallucinating, but that's what I had to show. Yes, so it was a great journey. I learned a lot, LLMs and Quarkus, Chain4j, and I really had a lot of fun. And I was very happy to join this amazing team of contributors. Yeah, so if you want to contribute, I'm going to write a series of blog posts to explain you all the things. So in my website and my employer website. Thank you.
Great. Thank you, Sun. Thank you. Cool. So it's a work in progress. You know, it's us having fun with technology and so on. So feel free if you have some free cycles in the weekends. It's going to rain a lot from now onwards, right? So you might as well code in the weekends. The next talk is about Java. But Java and AI. Because what really pisses me off as a Java developer is that if I want to do bleeding edge AI, I have to work in Python. Now, okay, that's okay. We're all polyglot developers. But Python is slow. You know, Java is so fast. Wouldn't it be cool if we could do LLM inference purely in Java? I mean, we've got all these nice goodies that Brian is going to talk about later, maybe in his keynote, but also later on this week. We need to use the GraalVM stuff and so on. So there is a very interesting initiative that I found online, which is by Jake, called JLama. And Jake was so excited to actually come over and show what he'd done. And just before he comes on, I started building my own vector database just to experiment. And then I saw what he did. Jake, come over here. I saw what he did, and I went like, OK, I'm just an average developer. He's the pro. So Jake, welcome to DevOps Belgium.
Hey, thank you. Good morning, Antwerpen. All right. Let me see if my slides go up. Is it working? OK, perfect. So yeah, I'm Jake Luciani. I'm the chief architect at DataStax. We are a pure Java SaaS company, pretty much. We have a vector search engine. And this is my side project called JLama. I wanted to understand how these things worked. So I built one from scratch using Java 21. So I wanted to be able to run models locally. But I think we just hit on a perfect point. And actually, while I was walking here this morning, it was kind of dark out, but I got a photo that I thought perfectly captured what we're talking about with like how Java developers need better AI tools. There was like this kids, and there was like a Python kid sitting there, and he's got this llama, and the Java developers like throwing a tantrum because it wants. That's better image generation AI, but it actually got the words in it this time. But yeah, anyway, my general gist is I think we Java developers deserve better tools. There's LangChain for J is amazing, and I want to see a future where we're all working on cutting edge stuff in Java. So anyway, I've got 3 quick demos. All right, JLlama is super easy to install. Thanks to JBang. So I'll just pretend like I'm installing. Oh man, see, I'm not a Mac user, but I brought this one. All right, copy paste. All right, so there, I just installed JLlama, magic. Now I'm gonna run a chat model locally, and I'm just gonna. I was gonna ask, write a poem about Java developers at the DevOps conference. So this is all just running in native Java on my Mac. As you can see, it's not bad, right? It's like, but this is a small model, right? So it's going to be fast. And it does work with the DevOps Genie plugin, because if I change this to REST API, it stands up a OpenAI compatible REST API. But I don't have time to show that working. But you can change the settings in DevOps Genie. But the goal is to embed JLlama directly. So I want to go to my second demo, which is showing the really cool LangChain for J integration. I'm going to kick this off while it's. But this is using what's called function calling. I'm using Minstrel 7B. It's like a medium-sized model running locally. And I added a function down here called GitHub stars tool. And I'm going to ask a question to my little bot here. I'm going to say, how many stars does JLlama and LangChain for J have? Now, I have it on debug mode so you can see what's happening. But it basically gives it a list of tools it has access to. It parses the prompt, and then it goes off and starts it executes this code, which is just a hacky code to get the number of GitHub stars. Now, obviously, so there, it just got the results back, and now it's going to generate the output. Now, in LangChain for J, you wouldn't see this. But I just thought that this was like a next level. Like, okay, so we have our little basic model that we can embed. So there we got. JLlama's got 514. Come on, we can fix that. Get it up to like a couple thousand. And we got LangChain for J with 5,000, which is great. Cool. And the last one, which is the piece de resistance, is I wanted to show something. I wanted to take a big model, right? Like we have all this hardware sitting around. So I stood up some spot instances on GCP, Belgium, or EU West, what is it, EU West 1 or 4? And so basically, JLlama runs in a distributed mode. So you can basically take a really large model and split it up across boxes. It splits it up by layer and by head. And I'll show you what that looks like. So this is a visual representation of like what that is. So there's a coordinator node, and this is way overkill for this model, but this is the Meta 70 billion parameter model, and quantized it's 45 gigs. So it wouldn't fit on on a PC. But if you have a lot of cores sitting around, and I know in the EU it's data privacy, everyone's hand going up. They couldn't use a external model. So this is the kind of thing that you could stand up. And what this is showing is it's splitting by 4 head groups, and within the head groups, it's splitting across layer. And then to pull it all together, like JLlama comes with a little chat AI thing, so I can ask what was my last question going to be? I was just going to ask, write a short poem about the DevOps conference. And this is running in the cloud, and hopefully the Wi-Fi is working. Yeah, there we go. So that's coming from the large 50 gig model, and my plan was to do it with the 4 or 5 billion parameter model. But anyway, that's JLlama. Please come to my talk. I will go into the details of how this was built, and it'd be great to have more help building cool stuff for AI and Java.
Great. So, there was no Python involved with these demos, not at all.
No.
All Java, right? But did you see? He did sharding, you know, database sharding. He did sharding on a large language model. So large language model have layers. You can cut the layers, have different pieces, and then what you can do, I can have like my 3 MacBooks, which you know everybody upgrades every so often. I can have my 3 MacBooks at home running 10 layers on that one, 15 layers on that one, 20 layers on that one, and then have a 405 billion parameter large language model locally at home or at work, privacy guaranteed, using only Java. And then I'm going to introduce Jake to Thomas from the Graal VM team because they need to help him with the native stuff, and we'll just run it natively on Apple Silicon. And it's like, bloody hell, this is fun. This is just crazy stuff. Now, we've got still a few other cool talks that you have to watch this week. Alfonso Peterson and Alina, they're doing also very similar things. It's LLM inference using Java. But Alfonso, he works at the Graal VM team together with Alina. He did a llama3.java file. So it's just one file, and it does a full inference in that one file. And it's like, bloody hell, how the hell did he do that? So make sure you go to that talk. If I'm available, I'm going to be sitting at the front row because I want to see what these guys do. And you know, it's the Graal VM team. They do some crazy stuff with Java. And there's a few other ones. I mean, Thomas, he's going to actually go the other way. They have a talk later today, supercharge your Java applications with Python. They actually have something called PyGraal. What that allows you to do is that you can still write Python for whatever reasons there are, because now you can do everything in Java, so you shouldn't, but there's still some opportunities there. And then they compile that to native code, so you can run not Python as an interpreter, but just natively run it, and it's bleeding fast. So you should check that out. The other one, which I'm also very happy to get Mohamed here at DevOps Belgium, he flew all the way from San Francisco to show EXO. So EXO is the one that I supported in the DevOps Genie, which is similar to what Jake done, but they've done that in Python, and they're also using MLX library from Apple, which allows you to do inference on the silicon even more faster. And I was hoping actually maybe during another rainy weekend using JNI or the new approach to actually bridge that to the C++ library and have that run also natively. And then there's another talk, and there's so many talks, but there's also an interesting talk that I want to watch from Arthur on JVM in the age of AI, where he's going to combine Babylon, Valhalla, and Tornado VM. Tornado VM is definitely also very interesting. I believe it's also GPU-based or things that they're doing there, and it's happening. It's really exciting times. Even, I don't know if, I mean, are you excited about this or scared or what? Or just, yes. Yes to what? Excited and scared or both? Yeah, exactly. All right. So that was the Java AI part. There's still 2 speakers I would like to introduce, and one part is about change. Because our industry is changing, for sure. And we all need to reposition or pivot a bit, depending on how it will affect us. But I would like to welcome our next speaker, Mario Fusco, on stage to talk about change. Welcome, Mario.
Hi. Thanks. So, yes, I named this talk the second wave because, yeah, we are always on a wave now. As Stephan said, we are in a time of very fast changes, but also personally because I turned 50. Sorry, I can go back. Yeah, I turned 50 this year. So you know, when you are 50, it's always time for balances. Okay, and I wanted to quickly put together what I learned during my relatively long now career. And the very first and to me most important message that I want to give you is that you can be very, very serious about the stuff you do, but without taking yourself too seriously. Okay, so let's always have fun. Okay, let's always do the hard stuff, but always have fun. Okay, we are never forget we are in a privileged situation, I think. Okay, and the other thing about this picture is that this summer I was in my parent place in South Italy. I was on a beach. I met a very old friend of mine, dear friend, and we were starting speaking about traveling. This picture has been taken at the Java user group in Japan, in Tokyo. So she told me I want to go to Japan, and of course I showed her this and other picture, and she was amazed of the picture. But the other thing she said, okay, I really love the costume, especially I love the fake belly. Okay, and I was up, yeah, right, the fake belly was great, but the reality is that the costume was great, but it didn't have any fake belly. It was my belly, right? And this is to say that you know, you have a good you have to set in your life good habits, better habits, and this shape your future. Okay, and that picture was taken immediately before the COVID time, and you know, the COVID time was a terrible time for us, especially for us in North Italy, if you remember, but for everybody. It was always also a relatively boring time for the people who had the luck of not having any health problem. So at that point, I started having at least good habit. And the one positive thing that the COVID time brought to me is that I'm still keeping that good habit with me and going forward. Okay, and the other thing that I learned during my career is that you know, software development is not really about writing code, or is not the main thing. And I believe I'm a better software developer not because I'm better to write code. Well, you have some experience, but for sure I'm not. I cannot write code faster now. You know, it takes me much more time now than before to write code, but I believe I'm a better developer just because I can communicate better. And this is something that I also learned and I want to pass as a message. So why we are here? Because we want to meet each other, right? We want to communicate each other. Stephan presented the amazing thing that he did with the DevOps Genie, and he was eager to share this with you. And we are all eager to share our work with others because it makes us proud, right? Okay, so yes, the code is important, communication is key. And as Stephan said, it's time for change. It's always time for change, right? But especially in this time, we are in a period of extremely fast changes. And it's time for change for everybody. It's time for change a little bit also for me. And yeah, this is what my talk was about. Thank you.
Hold on, Mario. No. I did a tweet last year. So I'm very impulsive, and I did like an AI Photoshop of like, how would Mario look like a hipster? And then I saw Mario last year and said, like, Mario, you're 50 years old. It's time for a change. You need a haircut. And I said, my wife, he said, like, my wife has been asking this for 20 years, and I've always said no. But I asked you, and he immediately said, yes. I said, okay, if you're willing to do a haircut, let's do it during the opening keynote. So we got a barber here. change. So the idea is we're gonna turn him in the next 45 minutes into a hipster, a J-hipster guy. Look him out. Now, this will take a bit of time, right? So don't be distracted. He told me that he has never seen a scissors for the last 15 years. Now, he did wash his hair, but this will take a bit of time, right? So enjoy. By the way, his wife doesn't even know this, that he's doing this. Can you imagine? What? Yeah, Antonio, we still got free spot after this. Where are you, Antonio? We can also color it a bit. Okay, we'll continue while he's doing his work. We're going to show the progress later on, or while we're speaking. But it's time for another thing, which... Can you go to my slide, please? It's there. Oh, it's not? Yeah, there it is. There's another change.
Good morning. Nice to be here. Thank you. Good luck, Mario, also. DevVox is one of the best conferences in Europe or even in the world. And I agree with that. As a speaker, I've been to a lot of conferences, and I need to say good content, a great wall here, the venue, great presentations. And we love it, and we have great chairs after a day of Beer Central, right? I see some people here like, oh. And we are loving it. And one of our ambitions and dream is to get DevVox to the Netherlands. Can I have applause here? Nice. But the first step is Vox Days Amsterdam. Hello world. So we're very happy with that. And on the 3rd of April, we are unleashing the best of code in a one-day event. And I can have everyone have a phone here. Can you raise it? Yes? Nice. Go to amsterdam.voxdays.com and grab your ticket, secure it right now. And I'm very happy also with the speakers. There are a lot of speakers already and engineers. That's a great team here. And we have a great launching partner picnic. Over to you.
All right, so imagine going to a conference and then there's no talks. That would be awkward, right? So what's left then? You would still maybe have this great group of people to meet, which is good. Maybe get a haircut, also good. Maybe have some crab sandwiches for lunch, I don't know. Not so good. So clearly we need great speakers for Vox Days Amsterdam as well. So I'm super happy that we already have, for example, Victor Rentea and Josh Long, who are here as well. Hey guys, that they're coming to Vox Days Amsterdam as well. But that also means that the big part of the program is still open. So that's why today we're also announcing that we're opening the CFP. So I really want to encourage you to submit your best talks to our CFP. You can see the 7 tracks here. Covers a wide variety of topics. So I think there's something for everyone in there. So unleash your creativity. Make sure that the program committee has lots of work to do. And talking of the program committee, there's even another way where you can contribute besides submitting to the CFP. And Michel will share a little bit more about that.
Yes, thank you, Sander, for sharing that. You've seen the tracks. At least they were there a couple of moments ago, but they will come back, I guess. Yeah, there they are. These tracks, we have to fill them, and actually this is your chance to participate in that and make sure that we have the right content at our conference. So I hereby invite you formally, to be a community reviewer. So what can you do? As a community reviewer, you can rate talks, you can review them, and you can present otherwise very valuable content to us and feedback in order for us to make the best conference we can build. So if you're interested in that, you can go to the website, go to the CFP section, and then scroll down a little bit to a form that says join as a community reviewer. You can sign up on there and we'll get back to you ASAP, okay? So we'd love to have you on board. Yeah, with that being said, we're all very excited about this. So we hope to see a lot of you next year, April the 3rd in Amsterdam. Don't forget to secure your ticket, as Co mentioned, tickets and CFP opens today. And we'll hope to see you all there, and it's going to be awesome. So thank you very much, and enjoy the rest of Devox.
Thank you. Thanks. Thank you. Thanks. Welcome to the family. Wow. How's it going, Mario? You have
Well so far, yes.
second thoughts?
Yes.
You're still
No,
okay?
it's okay.
Ah,
It's okay,
no
yes.
second thoughts. You're okay.
No, it's okay.
Yeah, it's okay.
Yeah.
Ah, you look already 10 years younger.
Yeah, well, yeah. The hardest part will be telling my wife, but yeah.
Yeah, don't tweet about this because his wife shouldn't see this online. He should say it personally, right? I think that's too late for that. That's too late. It's too late. Yeah. Mario is single from tomorrow onwards, that's for sure. Looking good, man. No stress. Wow. If anybody wants a piece of his hair, we are selling it. I've heard you can even sniff it, and you will be very good at Quarkus and drools, I heard. Or you might drool. I know, they told me you might drool if you sniff it. Sorry, I've got it wrong. Okay. You're okay? Yeah. Let me just... Another part of the talk is about AI. Let me get this here. Yep, very good. There's actually, I mean, the fun thing about organizing a conference like this is that I'm doing prospection of speakers and topics to invite and so on. And I saw actually a tweet and then an article by a student who used artificial intelligence as a guide to write a small nuclear reactor. What? Nuclear reactor? And it's like, okay, I need to reach out to this guy. And it's like a student, so there were like multiple, I won't spoil the fun, but I reached out. You said, yeah, I'm up for it.
Yeah.
And he came, I think it's San Francisco, where did he come?
Waterloo, Canada.
Ah, okay, sorry. But it's all yours, man.
Yeah, thank you so much. I appreciate it. Hello. This is an extremely random conference that I'm coming to. I think a lot of this I did not expect at all. There's a haircut there. I think I'm the youngest person at this conference, maybe ever. But I want to tell you a bit more on like what is going on here. So you want to build a nuclear reactor with AI. And how do we actually do this? And like what exactly is going on here? So a few months ago, or last month, this whole thing kind of went viral slightly all over the internet, where people were like, "Oh, this kid just made this like nuclear reactor with AI, whatever." And here's today I'm going to share a bit of like the story of like how that happened, or like what was the process behind this, or like why did I do any of this, and like is this scary? Should we be excited? Yes, no, what's going on? And this all started when I moved to San Francisco for the summer. So over the summer, I spent my time in San Francisco, where me and 20 of my friends from Waterloo, Canada, lived in this giant hacker house in like downtown San Francisco. We all were just hanging out there, and during San Francisco, I spent a month of my time at this conference called Edge Esmeralda, which is like a pop-up city in a city called Healdsburg. There, we worked on a lot of random projects. I went to San Francisco with basically no job, with no school, and just like on a gap term to work on projects, and worked on a bunch of random things. Here, me and my friends, we built like these solar A-frames out in a forest. We held like this night market that was powered by like a Cybertruck, and had this like giant awesome event. But beyond that, it was also at this event, I met this girl named Olivia, and she was like telling me about this thing that she made, a project called a fuser, which is basically a mini particle accelerator capable of nuclear fusion. And me being like a developer and coder who's been coding since I was 10 years old, I was like, oh, I could do that, maybe. And so this was my first ever hardware project. And I was like, OK, I really, really want to do this. I'm like, I want to prove to myself that I can do this. So I started gathering all the resources I could. I went on to like Fuser.net, which is like this tiny forum on the corner of the internet that has like a ton of people just making these. And I just started reading. I started watching like every video I could find. And I started having conversations with like the best people in the world I could find. Very long email conversations, finding them on Reddit, and just like transcribing all these conversations. And then it came to the point, it's like, OK, how do I gather all this data in one place? And I just want to ask like a quick question to this room. Is like, how many of you guys have used like ChatGPT or Claude for coding? If you could put a hand in the air. Yeah, wonderful. But how many of you guys have used it for hardware? And maybe very few, very few. And so this was kind of like, OK, what if we did that? And so let's see what happens. So I dumped all of this information into a Claude project. I dumped meetings. I dumped parts, data sheets, code, and all sorts of things into this, and used it as a thought partner, where I would just like talk with it and be like, OK, how do I do this? How do I do that? Mind you, this was coming with basically no experience in hardware and making it in a couple of weeks. So then I started buying parts. I spent a few $1,000s buying like random equipment of McMaster car, going to random places on eBay or like shipping random parts over and learning how to weld out of nowhere. And then slowly, before I actually go more into that, I want to explain what a fuser is or like what I'm actually making. Wikipedia does this better. It's a device that uses an electrical field to heat ions to undergo nuclear fusion. What I was building here was a demo fuser, and it uses like a potential difference between like the cathode and anode to induce this. So yeah, there are three components of this. One is like the vacuum chamber. The second is the high voltage system, and the third is the pressure system. And this is kind of what I broke it down into. So part one, vacuum chamber. We went to this place called Noisebridge, which is a makerspace in San Francisco, and we just started making. We took the parts. We tried to use a drill for the first time. We struggled with using a drill for the first time, and we eventually got to something that looked like this. With more time, we got a bit closer, and with a bit more time, we got a bit more closer. And this was our like first MVP. You can see the outside is the anode, and that shaker ball inside is actually from a blender bottle, and that's the anode for it. Sorry, that's the cathode for it. The outside's the anode. And then the next part was the high voltage system. So for that, you need a rectifier to convert AC power into DC, and I just made that from scratch as well. And I also learned how to like use a Dremel for the first time because I had to cut a bunch of ceramic because you need to power a ton of like high voltage in. And I was working with around 12,000 volts of power here. So this had to be, it was also like just quite dumb. Like 12,000 volts of power is like quite stupid, especially for the first time. But that's kind of the point. It's like, OK, how close to death can I get? And can Claude save my life? And the answer is yes, it did save my life many times, actually. So yeah, this was the high voltage system. And lastly, was the pressure system. This was the kind of thing I was like drawing over, like using an Arduino and using a specific transducer. And then mixing it all up, gathering all my roommates and just like building it. Many times we actually had no idea what we were doing. We were just like connecting parts together, just seeing what happens, and mainly just having like a lot of fun. In our house, we also did other random shenanigans. Oh, this was also a bit more assembly. Here's a picture of my friend who also flew in. We also worked on other random things. This was us trying to electrolyze a like welded brass and metal piece that we'd accidentally cold welded. It didn't work out. And the next picture was us gold panning because we wanted to. Yeah, the next step was like to fire this whole thing up. So I found this transformer from some guy who runs like a giant neon sign company and like convinced him to give it to me for like $100. And eventually I was like, OK, hopefully this works. You know, I'd been struggling to get it to work. And eventually it worked. And we got plasma. And this was some of the pictures my friend took. And yeah, this was... Yeah, so this is actually stage one of the demo fuser. I'm also building the full like fusion reactor like right now in Toronto, and that will take around a month hopefully. This is kind of in between. I'm like, okay, buy all the parts, come to Belgium, go back to Toronto, continue building. So let's see how that goes. Yeah, so a lot of this credit goes to a lot of my friends who helped me with this. They're all software engineers, by the way. No one knows anything about hardware. But it was also like a giant learning experience for all of us, like especially using AI and how we can use that as a thought partner and how to not get it to hallucinate by giving it a lot of great data. And yeah, this was some of my friends making fun of me, if you can see that. But yeah, a lot of shout out to a lot of these people who helped me make this thing. And you know, just a giant amount of support from all these people, and just like either via help or just like emotional support. And a lot of this, I think, kind of comes back to the idea of like using AI for things. And I know a lot of like, especially in Europe, like things are much more like privacy focused. And so after this, I joined a company called Cohere, which does like more private deployments for LLMs and stuff. And I'm helping them out there. So yeah, if you enjoy this and want to learn more about how I did this and more of the intricacies, please say hi. You can come find me via email or on Twitter or LinkedIn. And this is the room I'll be at, room 10, today from 4:40 to 5:30. Thank you so much.
Great. Thank you, man. Thank you very much. Thank you. Seriously, I mean, these youngsters, right? We were like, oh, be brave and play with knickers and so on. They were like playing with fusion reactors. But this is the AI change that is happening. I mean, they're like just full-blown going for it. No distraction, no limitations. And this was not possible a year ago. Like Anthropic projects did not exist a year ago, right? So you can do some really crazy things, for sure. There's like another one which I want to just highlight. Who knows about Notebook LM? Wow, only 3 people. Write it down. Don't forget that. Write down Notebook LM, because that one, it's from Google. It allows you to add all sorts of resources, and then it does basically very advanced RAG that you can then ask questions and so on. And it's experimental, but you'll see. Once you start using it, you go like, what the fuser is this? All right. So let's have a look at Mario. Is Celestino in the room? Celestino, are you here? Where is he? Come over here, Cele. So Celestino, give him a round of applause. He's the guy who makes the Alpha.io and registration app. But he's also from the same, well, he knows Mario very well and for a long time. And he said, like, please wait to cut Mario's hair before I'm on the room. So let's have a look at Mario, where he's at. Let me tell you, do you like what you're seeing? Bloody hell. And so Christine, my wife, she has a bit of stage fright, so that's a perfect way to get her involved on the stage as well. But bloody hell. Serious? No, but you're like a role model, like a fashion model. It's gonna be much better.
I did it. Yeah. 15 years in the neck.
Yeah, maybe we can do this on a yearly basis or something. I don't know. So make sure you go to, if you want to know more about the Fuser talk, go to his session. I mean, it's unbelievable, these youngsters, what they're doing. It's inspiring, for sure. There are almost no limitations. So while we're setting up, a few practical things. So we have the mobile schedule. Make sure you rate the talks and give feedback. I mean, that's very important for the speakers because they do want to know how they can improve or if they did a good job or not. All the talks from today will be available on YouTube tomorrow. And we also, for the speakers, just as a highlight, we have our Dimitris, our DevOps Days photographer. I mean, he takes photos to the next level, right? What he produces is artwork. And we publish that on Flickr, and it's royalty left, right? So you can just, even if it says something, you can just use it. You can use it for your avatar or whatever. And the cool thing is that we use face recognition on the WordPress website, where it will actually show you all the pictures where your face was recognized. And I know Alina, I actually had to add paging to it because Alina has like 200 pictures. Yeah. So we had to do a bit of damage control, but anyway. Cool, I think we're all set up. George, it's all yours. Welcome to DevOps Belgium, George.
Thank you. Great to see you. Hi, everyone. Good morning. I can't promise you anything quite as exciting as Fusion, but we'll go anyway. So 7 years ago, we started the 6-month cadence. Feels like yesterday, right? At the time, most people thought we were crazy, but now many have called it the best thing that could have happened to Java in terms of enabling us to bring innovation to developers more quickly and regularly. Now, while not necessarily the most popular at the time, the module system has actually played a key role in making it possible for us to improve internal implementation details while retaining spec compatibility. Together, these have put us into a great spot for delivering on ambitious projects which aim to solve difficult problems and evolve Java towards being the best platform for modern workloads, like operational use of AI. And at this point, one key area remains a challenge for us, which is we need the library ecosystem to move along with the JDK so that application developers have flexibility and choices that allow critical workloads to remain stable while allowing new workloads to take advantage of the latest innovation. And to that end, please check out the recently posted tip and tail JEP that's listed here. And if you are a library maintainer, please join Brian and myself. We're going to have a birds of a feather discussion this afternoon. And we'll try to make sure, I don't think the actual details are on the schedule yet, but we'll try to get those added so you can find us. Now, lest you think we only care about the most advanced developers, I do want to mention that we think a lot about how to get the next generation of developers started using Java. Now, you've likely heard about our efforts to pave the on-ramp and to make Java more approachable. But we've also been working on tools like the Java Platform VS Code plugin and helping folks who work on generative AI support for Java, like the Oracle Code Assist team. Here at Devoxx, there are lots of sessions that are diving deep into specific features of recent versions of Java. But this morning, Brian will give us a glimpse behind the curtain so that we can experience what it's like when you're actually working on those features.
All systems are nominal. Initialize Genesis